Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Nightly Sports Call.
Pittsburgh's best sports show at 10:30 in Pittsburgh. Give us a call. 412-575-2600 is the number. You can tweet us. You can call us. We are taking your phone calls tonight about Martavis Bryant, Juju Smith-Schuster. If you want to call in, if you know where his bike is, we'll be happy to take that call too. But, you know, I'd like to hear what you guys think what the Steelers should do with Martavis Bryant today. We have Gene Collier in tonight. We'll be discussing that, taking your phone calls. Also talking a little bit about the big game at PPG tonight. The two best players in the NHL in Pittsburgh today. Sidney Crosby taking on Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. The Penguins come out on top in overtime, but McDavid made it a game, 3 minutes to go, tied it up at 1, and then Phil Kessel, another star on the Penguins, wins it for the Pens in overtime. You know, those two guys are the biggest stars in the NHL, but the two goalies were the big stars tonight. Cam Talbot, Matt Murray stopping one shot after another, and the Pens go on to win 2-1 tonight at PPG. Gene, but let's talk a little bit about the Steelers right now. It seems like they're having to deal with, and even Mike Tomlin came out to said it at the press conference today, have to deal with these off-the-field distractions. And again, with Martavis Bryant, I think it's gone too far with this guy. You know, first he calls out Ben Roethlisberger before the season starts. Then he wants to be traded. Then goes on. Then the tweet. And then, you know, then the Sammy Coates thing, and then another Instagram message, and it's a never-ending story with this guy. What do you do with them?
Yeah, I mentioned on the show last night, Richard, this is just a good illustration of how talented the guy is, that they'll put up with all of this kind of stuff, and not just this year, but year after year. So obviously they have great hopes for him. But I mean, if it were me, I would release him. I would do what Joe Madden did with Miguel Montero in the middle of the summer when he criticized the pitchers for not holding runners on. Yeah, to me, you can't have that in your clubhouse, one player criticizing another. Now, it might be the Steelers' judgment that Martavis is potentially more valuable to this team than in the case I gave you about the Cubs, but I would release him. Also,
maybe more valuable not playing for the Steelers than playing for someone else, too. You probably wouldn't trade him to a contender.
No, you wouldn't trade him. Who would give you?
You would never get anything for him. But you know, as I was saying the other day on here or on Facebook Live just now, that hey, if the Steelers could get a first or second round draft pick, I wouldn't even think twice. I would send him on his way. But they would never even come close to getting something like that for him.
No, they won't.
And I just think now it's a broken locker room again, and people are talking about these distractions and having to deal with these distractions. You know, teams don't like it. Tomlin doesn't like it. What is he going to say to this guy tomorrow? I mean, I just don't think that you're going to be able to change Martavis Bryant. This is something that just is ongoing with him.
Yeah, I agree. I told you. I agree with him.
All right, if you want to talk about that, 412-575-2600. That's the big topic for tonight. Also, another topic. Gene, did you find Juju Schuster-Smith's bike yet?
No, I haven't been asked to look for it, but I'll be glad to do it. In fact, I'll look around on my way home.
Yeah, it's on the south side somewhere.
Oh,
but
really?
we do have some breaking news.
I wasn't going that way, but I'll go over there.
I heard that he got his driver's license today, so he might not need that bike. He should be riding around the bike anyways, with being in the concussion protocol now. So I'm interested to see what the Steelers do this week with Martavis Bryant. Do you think that they would sit him maybe, make him inactive? Or just continue to do what they do, which is maybe dress him and just not play him?
Well, he played, 26 snaps or something?
But not as much as he wants.
No, I don't see them acquiescing to his demands. I think it'll be one of those other options, sit him.
Yeah, I mean, they might. There's a problem now if Juju Smith can't play, right? I mean, if he's in the concussion protocol and he can't play, now you don't have him available. And you might need to rely on a guy like Martavis Bryant, but you know I would just dress Justin Hunter and go with him and Darius Hayward-Bay, and you know maybe dress Martavis Bryant, but don't even play him. Well, we'll see what happens, but we want to hear from you guys. 412-575-2600 is the number, or you can always send me a tweet. Average Walsh back in a couple minutes.